guys, Bearded Redneck here. I'm just going to take a little time today to try to show you some different ground blinds because it can be a little overwhelming when you're looking to buy a ground blind. I've got a few different ones here today. I'm going to show you a few different ones and kind of try to help you figure out which ground blind is going to be the best for your hunting situation that you're going to be doing in the upcoming year. So let's look around and look at a couple of the ground blinds, and I'll kind of explain the advantages and disadvantages and why you might want certain ground blinds next time when you head out towards the field. All right, this first style ground blind, I call it a Bale blind. It's kind of got four rounded sides. It folds together. They're lightweight. They fold up small. This one looks a little rough. If you see, it's faded a little bit because it's been around a while. I've done a lot of hunting out of it. As you can see, it's got three different sides that have these small windows. If you're hunting by yourself, this is a real good blind because you can conceal yourself a lot. As you can see, it's got the mesh that goes over them that you can shoot through, so it conceals you up because that kind of has a camo pattern on it. And also, if you look here, if you shut all the windows and you zip one of these sides open, you actually have a really big window, and it doesn't work too bad if you got all the other windows shut to be able to look out one side. So that's a good thing with this blind. So if you're looking for a good one-person blind, that's the one. All right, and our next one over here is the Ameri Caretaker. Now this is a two-person blind. If you look at it, I really like how it has the woods camo, and it's got a lot of triangle windows, a lot of different options for the sides. Look at the realistic on the mesh. I mean, it really blends in as far as that. And look here, how much of the bottom you're blocked. I really like this blind for concealment. If you know that you're only going to have one side or two sides open, it's good concealment. The back is solid, which I like. There's nothing there, so that helps keep the black in there. But these windows give you a lot of different avenues as far as to look out of, and there's a lot of concealment if you stay low. This is a great one for mentoring, or if you want to bring somebody else along to experience a hunt. There's a lot of room for forgiveness with this blind. Very good blind. Okay, and as you can see, Ameri. They have quite a few different blinds. I recommend you checking them out. Okay. I think we're going to go inside it. Let's go inside it. What the heck? All right. This one here, as you can see, we just unzip down here, and it's one continuous zipper. We can zip in, and as you can see, there's a ton of view. Got a ton of different options here. Now, I wouldn't advise having all those windows open at once, but it does give you a lot of options, and it's very spacious in there. Okay, let's go out and check out our last one. This one here is another Ameri. This is a three-person blind. This blind I really love for certain circumstances. If you see, three of the sides have those tall vertical windows. Now, for me being, you know, a little bit physically challenged this year. I said mentally too, which, you know, I probably am. But those windows are great for sitting down. Those windows would be great for a younger mentor hunter that maybe doesn't sit higher. But it also has those big triangle windows also. And I like those because if you had the vertical ones shut and you had those open, it also gives a lot of room for concealment. This zipper here, well, we're not going to the zipper yet, but you can see inside a little bit. You can see the great camouflage on the screen. This zipper is a double zipper. One goes up, one goes down. So let's go inside and look at this one a little bit. As you can see, there's a ton of room in here. This is a three-person blind. I'm actually using it just so I got a lot of room, and I'm bringing a child with. But as you can see, those triangle windows are upper ways, but you can still sit in a chair and be able to shoot out with a shotgun or with a bow. Those vertical windows work very well if you're sitting up on a hill and you want to shoot down into a ravine. Or, like I said, if you got a younger hunter. All right, folks. Now you've seen a couple different blinds here. Now you could be more confused than before, or you might see something that works great for you. But if you don't, let me just kind of recap. Now this one over here, I call it like a Bale blind. It looks kind of faded and you're probably like, oh, look at that. I mean, obviously looking towards the Ameri steps over there, it's a whole different world. But don't get me wrong, it was inexpensive. It didn't cost much, and I've killed a lot of turkeys out of it, and I've killed a lot of deer out of it. Now, where would this blind work the best? Now, let's say you're shotgun hunting by yourself. See the one hole there? It would work decent. If you're around hay bales. Another place that I found this to work good is also where you see farmers that take corn stalks and they bale those up. That would work good out there as far as that. I've used this with the bow. It does work. It is pretty tight space though. So if you're going to use it, I would recommend not bringing a lot of stuff. But the good thing about this blind is it does kind of fold up funky, but it's lightweight. So if you need to go in farther, this would be a good option as far as what to use. Okay, so now let's look at, you can kind of see it there. I'll kind of scoot over a little bit. The middle blind right there is the Caretaker. Now, what would the Caretaker work good for? The Caretaker would work good if you need to have a lot of visible windows out. It's got a lot of good windows. I've sat in it with my bow. Now, you know that my foot's hurt, so I'm kind of going against it. But it's got a lot of room in there. You could have somebody else. It's a two-person blind. You could have another person in there. You could easily shoot a bow in there. You could have some stuff packed in there, but you wouldn't want a lot, just to kind of keep it so you could be mobile in there, because wherever you think they're coming from, they always come from where you're not. So that would work good for that. The one thing I really like about this blind, and I would have you guys consider it for this, let's say you're not a very, avid hunter type deal. See the bottom down here? That's all concealment. You can hide there. If you're down low and you're working on things, that's a lot of place for you to be able to move around but still peek out the top of the windows and the animals won't see you. So that's good. If you have someone else with that maybe isn't as good a hunter, or that you're bringing along for the first time, this would be a great blind for that. Now, of course, I'll show you in an upcoming video, what a ground blind looks and what the best camouflage is for it. But what you want to do is you want to have the best ground blind for the situation. Now, this one would be great for shotguns. It would work good for bows. You got a lot of viewing, so if you got a younger kind of mentor hunt, there's a lot to be able to look around, even though you might not want all those windows open, and I'll show you that why in that upcoming video. But this would be a great blind for that. If you got to move around, or if you're out in the open, like let's say antelope hunting, or turkey hunting on the prairies, or deer hunting out where, where they're gonna catch you, or the game is really wary or educated, or it's late season, a blind like this would be awesome because it hides so much of your movement. So great blind for that. The third one down there is that Dominator. And that's the one I'm gonna be using, and I'm gonna tell you why. See those big, tall windows? I gotta move my hand the right way, but right there, they're on 3 sides. So those windows right there are great. For me, having the leg messed up from falling off the roof, I can shoot. Now, it'd be great for a mentor hunt also. For a smaller child or somebody that's maybe shooting that doesn't sit up as high, it would be a great opportunity for that. It's a 3-person blind, so there's a lot of room in there. You could have 2 chairs in there. You could have 2 people, be comfortable, have a bunch of luggage. It would be great for that. The only thing with those windows that you might want to look into, or maybe you leave those closed and you use those other triangle windows that you can see back there, is because when you got all that vertical open, that's all that movement they can see. Now, with what I'm going to do is I'm probably only going to have 2 of those windows open, one to film through, one to shoot through, and it'll keep everything dark in there. So that's going to help. But however, if you want to have multiple windows open for like a mentor hunt, or if you're one that if you really want to scout, you might not want to have those open, and you might want to have those big triangle windows that are all the way around open. because then you got, excuse me, wow. Then you got a lot of look around, but you still have some concealment below. Now you're still able to shoot a bow through there comfortably. I mean, I can draw back, it's great. A shotgun you'd be fine with in there for like an adult whatever, or you know, a junior type teen, it would work. That blind I'm gonna use just for the fact there's a lot of room. I'm bringing a small child with when I film. I'm not very mobile. I'm not gonna be able to move around, and I wanna be able, where the turkeys come in on me, they come close. When they come into my decoys, I had them last year 5 feet away from the blind, puffed up, beating the heck out of my Jake. So if they're that close, I want to be able to get good video without having to angle down, so that's why I'm using this. And also, if I got to shoot them that quick or something's going to happen and I got to make my shots presented at that close, I'm going to shoot them that close, which will be pretty cool for camera, but at the same time, that's why I'm doing it. That blind, like I said before in another video, is also those big vertical windows. Let's say you're sitting up on the side of a hill and you're looking down into a ravine. That would be an awesome ground blind for that, because you'd be able to shoot down the hill. Also, it'd kind of work for up. So, I mean, the biggest thing that I can tell you is get the best ground blind that's gonna work for your situation. If, like I said, if there's gonna be a lot of movement around in there, or you can't have movement seen, get like the Caretaker. It's got a lot of hiding. Or this Bale type, because that's got a real small window, or you can open like half of it up. But the biggest thing is get what's gonna work for your conditions, get what's you're gonna be able to kind of camo in and conceal in, and it's gonna look halfway good. If you got this huge gaudy blind like this, and you got a small trees around and stuff, it's probably gonna pop out. And with deer and certain animals like that, they're gonna get deterred from that. Now turkeys, I've never really had a problem with. I can have the ground blind sitting out in a lawn like this, and they'll come right out and strut right into the decoys. They're focused in on the decoys, they're focused in on the ladies, they're focused in on kicking that little Jake's butt and getting them out of there because they want some action. So they aren't so bad. Antelope usually aren't so bad out on the prairies and stuff, you know, but deer and some of that stuff, I've had some problems where you want that stuff brushed in real good. So that would be one thing to look at. If you need a blind to be able to brush in more, like I said, that Caretaker, look at all that bottom with no windows. You can brush that in. You can brush a lot of it, and I've even brushed the roofs in, but sometimes they cave in. You got to kind of watch with that. But the biggest thing is, what are you going to be doing hunting? Are you going to be going out with someone else? Are you going to be going out with yourself? Are you going to be trekking in? Are you going to be leaving it there? You know, then maybe you can get away with one of these bigger ones. You know, my blind's going to be set up a day in advance, and it's going to be left there. You know, so I'm leaving that. I'm walking a short distance from the truck to go to it. You know, maybe if you're going a little farther, go with the Caretaker. You know, match your surroundings. Don't just buy a blind and then it totally stands out. I've seen some of them where you can see them like a half mile away. I've seen other ones where I walk 10 yards from them and I go, oh crap, someone's hunting here. So the biggest thing, take the time. When you go to the store, take the time to sit in them. Sit in a chair like you're gonna use right inside there. Act like it's the hunting situation and see if that blind's for you. I mean, the one great thing about these Ameri blinds, they got a lot of different blinds and they got a really good product. So take the time, find a dealer that has Ameri blinds like this, sit down in a bunch of them. Sit down in this one and in that one, and if you're bringing a kid with, bring that kid with. Have him sit down in it. See if he can hold his hands up with a shotgun and he won't be blasting right through the side of the blind. Or what have you. But take your time and check out some blinds. Get a good blind because it's going to help you this hunting season. Till next time, we'll see you.